Hello everybody. We salute you with a brand new episode of Heartland Season 15 titled Sins of a Father. This fourth installment of the season is the direct continuation of the previous episode, as the story was left unfinished before. In the previous season, we watched that the break-ins in the Hudson were on rise, to the point that locals were going crazy over who to blame for the crime. Naturally, their first instinct was to look at the therapy center of Cooper, in which foster kids from troubled backgrounds were being introduced to the world of the horses through equestrian therapy. According to many locals, however, the kids were posing danger to the community since they were not reliable. The Heartland mostly took side with the kids in this dynamic. Especially Amy, who was helping Cooper in his running of the center, got friend with a kid named Logan and was convinced that they cannot be the ones who are responsible for the break-ins. In the meantime, they also started to take this threat more seriously by getting a security alarm system for the Heartland Ranch, hoping that it will keep the burglars away. Unfortunately, the system got shut down mistakenly by Jack, providing the criminals an opportunity to break in, which they did. The incident shocked the entire family, but especially Jack, whose reaction was the last scene we saw in the episode. Episode 4 started with another talk on the break-ins, as they were still continuing around the Hudson. Then the Flemings reported to the police which of their belongings were stolen. Apparently, most of the stolen items were things such as TV or laptops. However, there were also some sentimental items, such as the trophy of Tim and, of course, the watch of Jack's father. Before the family lets the incident sink in, the entire town learns about the issue, including Parker and Tim. Tim gets mad and blames Jack for shutting the alarm down because he values his trophy highly as it represents his lifetime work. Parker, however, gets really upset to see Jack so devastated, especially about the loss of his father's watch. Jack truly gets into a depression and enters into an obsessive mode. He guards the ranch over the night with a gun while refusing to go to sleep. He also blocks entrances to the ranch, which worries everybody, particularly Lisa, as she thinks all of these are a little bit extreme. It is true that the children are scared of the break-in and struggle in sleeping. Still, seeing Jack so alarmed makes them even more worried rather than relieved. Parker decides to help Jack behind the scenes by tracking down the watch. She looks up online second-hand retailers to see if there are any adverts similar to the watch that was stolen. Tim mocks her at first, but when realizing she might be onto something, he joins him with the hope of finding his own trophy. The two form a great partnership over the common cause, and soon after, their research pays off. Parker realizes that there is a pattern between the break-in locations and the fair locations, which has been going on in the Hudson for a while now. She comes to the conclusion that the criminal is working at the fair. When he looks up for shops near the fair that might be interested in the stolen products, she becomes more confident that she is on the right track. Tim and her go to the shop and find both the watch and the trophy in there, letting the shop owner know that they will call the police. The shop owner also tells them that the person who brought those items to the show was an older man with tattoos, not a bunch of kids. This statement acquits the foster kids of the therapy center. Despite playing cool over his father's stolen watch, the incident disturbs Jack heavily. He starts to remember the old days with his father, and how their relationship evolved over the years. Their touching father and son dynamic in childhood turns into a toxic one after Jack's sister June dies. Jack's father blames Jack for his sister's death, and becomes an alcoholic who refuses to be there for his son. These memories break Jack's heart, and he struggles to be there for Lisa and others since he cannot separate the past from the present. His difficulty in forgiving his father for his actions engaged Lisa's attention. She assists Jack in getting back on track by making a peace with the past. Listening to Lisa's advice, Jack takes Lindy to fishing and once again remembers his childhood. However, this time, the memory is filled with good moments, as his father was a great man before June's death. This memory enables Jack to forgive his father. Then, Parker comes up with the stolen watch, surprising Jack with her kind heart. Jack becomes highly emotional getting the watch back, and immediately wears it as a sign of him making his peace with his father. Another important storyline of the show was Logan's, as his dreams were shattered when he learned that his father could not take the parole, and thus will not come back. The news devastates him for a while, and he decides to leave the Hudson anyways. Amy becomes very upset to see Logan this way, as she thinks he belongs with the horses since he has a natural talent with them. In a short while, Logan comes to his senses and realizes that he isn't ready to leave. He thanks Amy for being there for him and showing him that he belongs somewhere. Amy teaches him how to ride a horse, which strengthens their friendship even more. This episode of Heartland was filled with flashbacks, heartbreaks, friendships, and family bonds. Despite the fact that it was a calmer journey compared to the previous episode, we still enjoyed it. It is always a blessing to see an episode revolving around Jack, as he is an amazing character with a heavy background. What do you think of Sins of a Father? Did you enjoy the episode? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.